Hello and welcome. My name is Emily Blake, and I'm really glad to be your host today on another episode of Together We Can by the BAME Health Collaborative. Now, lucky me and lucky you, we've got two fantastic guests joining us in the studio today. Our first guest is Philip Oladejo, and he is the Executive Director of the Global Authors Awards Club. And we also have for you XINGANG Wang, who is an experienced consultant and investment banker and counsellor, and amongst many more amazing achievements by both of our guests today, I'd like to welcome them into the studio to tell us a bit more about themselves. Hello, Philip, and hello.
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 Hi, Emily. Hi, Philip.
Hello, XINGANG. How are we doing?
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now, I'll start with you, Philip. Could you introduce yourself for us?
Hi, thank you. Is Philip Oladejo. I am the Executive Director of the Global Authors Award in the UK and also in Canada. I am also an health and safety advisor and also the president of the Real DAD Club, which is an educational, a global educational initiative to educate dads all over the world and men as well. And I'm also the community lead for the BAME community, BHC, and I'm involved heavily in the community, and I have the passion to support charitable organization like BHC, and that's why I'm here.
Amazing. And what drives you to be part of this amazing collaborative?
I tell you, what drives me is the commitment of the board of trustee, Michaelene, the enthusiasm that she has for the Black, Asian, and ethnic minority. She has a very strong enthusiasm, support, and drive, and that kind of attracts me to the BHC. The commitment, the dedication to the Black and Asian community, and that's my drive to support these people in these categories.
Amazing. Thank you, Philip. And I'd just like to invite our other guest back into the room before we get carried away, because I've got lots and lots of questions that I'd like to ask both of you. Hello.
Hi, Emily.
So, can you introduce yourself for us? Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Sure, Emily. My name is XINGANG Wang. I was born in China and I came to England for 20 years. In the beginning, I came here as an international student, and then I work here, live here, get married here, settle down here. And then I started my career as an engineer. Later on, I moved to the banking, and then now I'm running my own practice. And then outside of work, I volunteer a lot. I volunteer as a school governor. Now I'm a magistrate and a local councillor. And then I really enjoy getting involved in politics. So I also stood in the general election 3 times.
Oh, amazing. That's quite the experience, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So how do you have time to do all of these different things?
I think the working experience of in engineering banking really helped me to found the skills of time management. Meaning, at one particular time, I should only focus on one thing, get it done, and move on to the others, so that then I can make the balance between the work, the family, and what I enjoy to do. For example, politics and other things. Here we go. I also wrote a book 6 years ago to give career advice in investment banking.
Amazing. And what was it that got you into investment banking in the first place?
I quite enjoy building things. When I start work as engineer, so even when I move to banking industry, I also enjoy building the infrastructures. Make sure that the financial industry will have the best practice, will have the automations, will have the processes that in place. And then I think it is really good industry that you want to get involved. It actually have a lot of things that you can get out.
Yeah. And how about your work as a counsellor? When did that come about?
I was elected as a local councillor in 2015. That is where I live, and then I've been going out and talk to the residents and fix the potholes, and then look at the local things. That is the general election in 2019. That is when I stood in Hammersmith, where I quite enjoy going out, talking to the local residents, and then get my message across out. For example, that is when I actually want to say, let's save the Charing Cross Hospital. And we're going to refurb the hospital floor by floor.
Oh, fantastic. So another person like Philip, passionate about helping the community. So what does it mean to be part of this particular collaborative?
For me, what it means to me to be involved in this collaborative is is being able to offer the Black, Asians, and ethnic minority my support, my experience, my skills, and just to support this in terms of the health and safety. So that's what drives me. And I love the fact that we are passionate about the people that we serve. We want to stand for the minority people. We want to be the voice for them. And that's exactly what drives me. And I love the team that we have in BHC.
Perfect, thank you. And it's so important, isn't it? And you can see as BAME, you know, we're representative of lots of different ethnic groups as well. But a lot of people don't actually understand what it means. So Xingang, can you fill us in a little bit on BAME and the different communities that it actually represents?
Yeah, absolutely. From my background, you can see I'm ethnic minority Chinese. And then there are, for example, close to 500,000, 500,000 British Chinese living in this country. We're the third largest ethnic minority in the country. And then that is part of the society. We actually contribute a lot to the society.
Wonderful. Thank you for those figures there as well. That was very informative. Now, there are suggestions that the Chinese and other Asian communities have sustained systemic abuse actually during COVID-19. Now, do you agree with that? Is that true? And what can we do to actually protect and prevent this from happening in the future?
Thanks for this question, Emily. COVID-19 was discovered in a city called Wuhan in China. And then xenophobia started to use this piece of information to actually have more racist hate crimes against the British Chinese community and the communities coming from the Far East origin. Media has reported that the number of the racist hate crimes against the Chinese and the Far East Asian communities has been tripled in the first quarter of this year. So this is what I believe that we really need to raise this issue. That we want to let everyone know that in this society there is zero tolerance against any hate crimes in any form. We need to know how to identify it, how to report it, and so that we can actually have a harmonious society.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think at the moment it's clear enough how people can actually report abuse?
Yes, absolutely. The first thing you want to do is actually go to the police. There's all sorts of different support to the police website, and then you can just Google it. You can easily see it. And then if you feel the immediate danger, always call 999.
Yes, absolutely. So what do you think this organisation can do to help with this issue? Is there anything that the BAME Health Collaborative can do actively to support these types of hate crimes?
Yes, absolutely. There are so many things that a BHC can do. For example, we engage with the policy makers and then also promote their health. We all want to have a better health. I want to have better health myself. I want to have better health for my friends, families, my communities. And then this is where BHC is doing a great job trying to promote the health concept within the BME communities.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Philip, I'd like to bring you back in. What do you think are some of the challenges that the BAME community faces on a daily basis?
I think where the challenges that BAME face in the society is the fact that, for example, take for example the COVID-19, not being able to assess the risk that that we face. I mean, as you know, I'm Africans, and if you look at the COVID-19, we have thousands and thousands of doctors, nurses that we affected in this community. Now, I think the problem that we face is that employer or government organization, government is not able to assess the risk that we are faced with. And what you have is just a generic risk assessment, whereas there is no a specific risk assessment that address the issues that the BAME, the Asians, and also the ethnic minority face. So that is one of the issues that we face. How the BAME community, how the BHC is helping to raise the awareness of this is by bringing different professionals together to address this issue, and also to work with organizations like NHS and every other organization to let them know that these categories of people need to be looked after, like carry out a special risk assessment and auditing, and therefore ensure that this group of people are well protected in the UK.
So you're suggesting that people from different backgrounds have different needs then when it comes to health?
Absolutely. From what we've seen, we see that the Black, Asians, and ethnic minority were affected so much, which means that it's a wake-up call to government to see that we are prone to every pandemics, and therefore there should be a special risk assessment to be carried out and to be followed up regularly, and a review to be carried out. So that is what BHC is trying to do, to work with organization to ensure, to bring all these issues to the attention of the organization, government, and policymakers, to ensure that we are well looked after.
Absolutely. Thank you. Xingang, do you have anything to add to that with, you know, the different needs that we have when we're from different backgrounds?
Yes, absolutely. I have one more thing I want to add, which I want to see there are more representation for the different BME communities at all levels of policymakers. For example, we want to see more BME member of laws, member of parliament, and local councillors, so that in this case, the community's voice can be raised, can be heard, and the policymakers can make the policies accordingly.
Absolutely. And representation is so important, isn't it? As you say, at every level of policy making and in society, in the media in general, it's so important that we feel we are represented, that we feel understood and really, really listened to. Now, do you think there are any, and this is a question for both of you to answer, do you think there are any challenges in actually accessing the healthcare that's available if you're from a BAME community?
Philip, do you want to go first?
Yeah, good. That's fine. That's fine. Yes. I think you should go first.
Oh, you were volunteering, Xingang.
Okay.
Nicely done, Philip. Thank you.
You can see what Philip and I were one flight. Yeah. Okay. So Emily, do you mind repeat the question one more time? Apologize.
Yeah. So in terms of actually accessing the healthcare that's available, do you think the BAME communities face any difficulty whilst doing this?
Yes, absolutely. I believe the first challenge is language and culture difference, especially for the first generation immigrants. They have difficulties sometimes to actually understand the service provided by NHS, and they have actually difficulties about the language to actually speak, to communicate efficient. And I believe we're able to do something about it.
Yeah. Now, the BAME Health Collaborative are actually actively looking into that and drafting a report currently on increasing the translators that are available, which is absolutely fantastic news, and well done to everyone involved with that. Now, what do you think should be actually included or addressed within that report relating to the translators?
I think a few things can be done. For example, provide the additional language support so that there will be easy access for the BME community members to actually speak to the doctors or the NHS service providers. And then in this case, it will make NHS work more efficient. And also the treatment can be done quicker for the BME community members.
Yeah. So, Philip, when it comes to accessing the healthcare that's available, do you think that BAME communities struggle or have any issues with accessing the healthcare?
I strongly believe that the BAME community struggle a lot in accessing the health provision in this country. For example, I heard recently that the government during the COVID-19 scrapped the payment of the health payment that the migrant pay to assess to assess the health that's in this country. A majority of people cannot afford to pay that charges, and therefore they are discouraged from coming forward and go for testing or any medical assistance that's available. And I think that also some of the medication available as well does not address the needs of the BAME community. And I think that there should be a consultation with all the BAME community, BAME doctors, on giving advice to the government on what the government should do to address particularly the health of BAME, and also provide access, make the information accessible to the people in this community.
Mm. Now, when it comes to monitoring our own health status, do you think there are any issues within BAME communities, members of BAME communities, actually, using kind of your own initiative to know when to get help? Because I think in some communities, we often overlook our own health issues and we're not sure sort of when to get support. So do you think there are challenges within BAME communities when it comes to actually monitoring their own health status?
I think the problem that we face is that I think it's cultural, because some people believe that if for example, the faith community believe some, for example, mental health issues. Some group don't believe that there is a mental health issue, which therefore prevents people from going forward. And some people actually focus on the stigma that's attached to that. So and I think it has to do with the cultural that we had the belief, because some group of organization believe that that kind of disease or mental health issues does not exist. And also I think it has to do with orientation as well. So some people believe that they don't need medication. For example, some faith group believe that they don't need medication. And I think what we need to do, which BET will be doing, is to promote the awareness that people need this help. And if they speak up, that it does not, there's no stigma in speaking up. And it's changing orientation and providing education. That is what is going to help the BAME community, which BHC is actually engaged in.
Yeah, absolutely. XINGANG, do you have anything to say on that point?
Yes, absolutely. I think we really need to promote the health concept. Promote, we need to look after not only our physical health, but also our mental health. And then eat healthy, and then do routine exercises. This is actually good for our mind, good for our body. And then in this case, I think it is actually important for everyone to actually get involved. This is why I quite like to work with a BME Health Collaborative. Together, we can. It's not one person's job.
Absolutely. It says it all, doesn't it? Together we can. And it's about learning from each other, because, we are a collaborative, but we all have individual needs, and we all need to listen and learn from each other, because it's not a one size fits all. So when Philip was talking about in some communities there is stigma attached to certain things, particularly mental health, can you relate to any of that at all with your background?
Yes, absolutely. For example, there are increasing number of the hate crimes against the British Chinese and Far East origin communities. And then what we need to look at is actually not only the physical abuse, but also the mental health impact after these hate crimes cases happened. Therefore, I want to see more support goes into these charities or GP practice, which can provide this emotional support, make sure that they are okay. Because if you actually face any of these racist hate crime situations, you actually want to speak to your friends, speak to a GP, the therapist, make sure that you are actually not only physically safe, but also mentally safe.
Absolutely. And I've also been told, Xinjiang, that the BHC has been invited over to Parliament this week, and that's because of you. So could you tell us a bit about that, please?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That is something that I was involved with other political work, and then I found out this is something that BHC really should get involved. And then I actually want to very keen to contribute my skills, my networks, my experience to support BHC, and that's why I started the introduction. And then I'm so glad that BHC is able to go to Parliament very soon. And then that is a very good starting point for me. So I'm going to keep working hard.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. And everyone involved is very grateful for that. What are your hopes for that meeting? What do you think will come of it?
I think this will be a good starting point for BME Health Collaborative to actually have conversations with the policymakers, and also raise awareness and promote the ideas and the concept principles that the BHC want to promote. And then in this case, it will be actually set the scenes for the charity and the foundations to actually work towards the next chapter.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm wishing those the best of luck that are going to Parliament with BHC this week. Now, Philip, the BAME Health Collaborative is planning a junior BHC group. So this is to encourage people aged sort of 10 plus to be health champions and future health professionals. What do you make of all of this? Is it a good idea?
It is a brilliant idea. And can I just say this? I'm so grateful to BHC because my daughter was actually chosen as the president of that group. And she's been telling me she was 8, even 5. She want to be a doctor. Now, having that initiative, which one of the things I love about BHC, to have an initiative where young people as age as 10, 11 could be modeled to begin to think that they could be something great in future. That to me suggests that the future of BHC and BME in this country is great. I am so looking forward to it. It's a great idea and a great initiative to have these young children, young stars being nurtured into a great profession. At the moment, we can see that the representation of BME is very, very small in numbers. And what BHC is doing is amazing. It's great to have this. They said catch them young. I think it's a great initiative to catch these children young as early as 10, as early age as 10. It's amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm so proud of the BHC, of what they are doing, of this initiative. It's going to help so many young people in this country to get into the health profession.
Absolutely. And why do you think it's important that we do encourage our young people to explore the opportunities within the health sector?
You see, they said catch them young. These young children, they're looking for a role model, someone that can they can teach them the way to go. Someone that can show them that this is actually a good step for you to go in. And the fact that the BHC is taking that step to provide the platform for this youngster is amazing. It's amazing. I think that is amazing to actually channel these young children in the right direction and for them to go into the health profession. Because as you know, health is wealth. And to be able to direct and guide these children in this direction is awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah, I imagine it would have such a big knock-on effect as well. Getting them to think about their health, so early on is such a good idea, because they can then make better choices for themselves as well throughout their lives. So I completely agree. It's a brilliant, brilliant idea. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. Now, Xingzan, what do you think should be the 5, and I know this is a big question, the 5 top priorities for BHC?
The 5 top priorities for BHC should be speak to the policymakers, promote health nationally, support NHS, support police, stay healthy.
Yeah. And how can we stay healthy? I mean, have you got any tips for us?
Exercise. I'm trying to go out exercise every day with my wife, with my children, and then the whole family going out. It's fun. It's actually good moments to actually connect with the families. And then you can't do it alone. And then you want to do it with your family, with your friends. And it's a good way to network as well.
That's a nice point, actually, because when you think of exercise, I mean, my mind automatically goes to grueling sort of hours at the gym, but that doesn't actually have to be that way, does it? You can just enjoy a walk with your family, like you say.
Absolutely, you're right, Emily.
Thank you. Now, Philip, for those people that aren't perhaps at the moment thinking about their health or indeed safety, what do you think the everyday person's top 5 health priorities should be?
I think for those who are not taking their health very seriously, I think, if I'm right, if I got your question correctly, I think the 5 priorities should be that you take your own health very seriously. Number 2, take the health of your family seriously. And for employer to encourage their employee to stay healthy. As the government is trying to promote now for people to cycle to work, which actually helps in terms of your fitness and all that. So these are the priority. And I think the last one with the children as well, encourage the children to exercise as well. As you know that there's so many sugars in the food that children consume these days, and the government is trying their best. And these are the priorities, and to help the NHS as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Philip. And a final question to you. For anyone thinking about actually joining the BHC, what would your final words be to them if they're thinking about it?
My final word to you, I'm enjoying it. I love the initiative. I love the people, the amazing people, dedicated professionals, and together we can. So I want to encourage you. You're watching me now. Come and join us. Let's put heads together so that we can win together. Let's put our voices together so we can win together, because together we can.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. Thank you, Philip. And the same question to you, Xingzan. What would you say to anyone thinking about joining the BHC today?
Sure. If we want to make a positive impact to make the society better, please join us. Together we can.
Yes, we can. Well, that just about brings us to the end of today's episode. My thanks. I'm so grateful to both of our guests today. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Philip, thank you. Xingzan, thank you so much. And I really hope to see you in person soon when we can make more progress together for the BHC. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.